So yes, this actually happened. Zohran Mamdani has become the next mayor of New York City. I think this is an understatement. You can guess from all the videos that I made about him and my opinion of socialism. I think it's safe to say that New York City is pretty much fucked up by this. There is no way around it. I want to make it clear that no matter if Curtis Sliwa would have dropped out of the race, or Andrew Cuomo had dropped out of the race and everyone rallied behind Sliwa, it didn't matter. The number, Zohran Mamdani's numbers were more than the other two combined. So it seems like it was inevitable, which at the same time is, it's the kind of stuff that this is not a what if scenario, because there was no what if scenario. It's like this was part of New York City's destiny. As I was telling you, cycles happen. And I guess the downward spiral cycle. And yes, I'm going to say that over and over again. I got some flack, by the way, on X. I had this post I'm gonna show you in a minute about Mamdani, that I noticed that some trolls were getting to me, like criticizing me for this. I'm gonna tell you my actual thoughts about this. To my New York City friends who didn't vote for Mamdani, sadly, the only way is out. As Zuby said, you can vote with ballots, but you can also vote with your feet. So in this case, leave the city while you can. That is my advice. My absolutely not satirical, not party, not a joke. This is actual advice. Leave the city while you can. And if you can, of course. Spare yourself the I will stand and fight. That will never work. That simply will never work. Nonsense. Save yourself that pain. To those who voted for him, I hope you get to experience the full outcome of his policies. You deserve every inch of it. And I got like a 10% flag about this, and I still have, I blocked anybody who was debating this. This is not for debate. This is not for debate. I lived through socialism. I know that these policies don't work, and they certainly won't work for New York City. That's it. Yeah, the city is pretty much F up. Breaking news, Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old state lawmaker from Queens, will be the 111th mayor of New York. He will be the first Muslim to ever lead the city, as well as his first South Asian mayor and the youngest mayor in more than a century. So this is what the majority, and the literal majority of New Yorkers voted for. Then this is what the majority of New Yorkers should receive. They should face the complete and absolute consequences of this. Sadly, there's a non-negligible amount of New Yorkers who did not vote for him. Some that maybe didn't even bother to vote. I think even so, there was this a very high turnout, which is good, but it was not enough. But the sad thing is this, and I've been criticized so many times about this. Oh, it's so easy for you to say, just leave the city. Is that simple? Well, yes. I'm tired of pretending that remote working, that finding something online is not a thing. I mean, okay, maybe I had a head start because that was an obsession of mine since I was a kid. But yes, that is something that being location free can give you. If the circumstances around you change, you are still mobile. You have mobility, which is great, especially in times like this, in which you have no idea after 9/11 how a Muslim can become mayor of New York City. I don't know. I had some theories about this. People were asking that question about how does this happen? like Calvin Robinson asked the question, New York, what happened to never forget? Father Calvin Robinson asked that question, and I had an answer. Well, Ma'am Danny voters, number one, hadn't been born yet on 9/11. Not all voters, of course. It's not like every single young voter went full Ma'am Danny. It's not like that. We know that so many of them are conservatives. Number two, were not living in the US at the time, so they are like kind of imported or post 9/11 imported. Or three, they are ignorant and proud of it. I mean, that's one of the worst things about ignorance. It is okay to be ignorant. I was ignorant at 20 years old. I had no idea. It's just something that and I could even say that I was proud of my ignorance. And sadly, I did not do more to try to move the needle for my country back then, but it's not like it would have made much difference because it was inevitable. Like Venezuela is pretty much infested, had been infested by socialism since, I don't know, the 70s. So it was a writing of the wall that Hugo Chavez, if it was not Hugo Chavez, somebody else was going to do the exact same thing that Hugo Chavez. But bonus, number four, they're terminally guilt-infested libs. Because so many people voted for Ma'am Danny, and they feel they are guilty. They're guilty about being white. They're guilty about being successful. They're for some reason. And I take this as a conclusion from what I have read online of the reactions and the photos of those proud of voting for Ma'am Danny. Like they look like they are doing well. Not all of them, of course. There are people who are successful that knew that Ma'am Danny was not the best choice. It was a very bad choice. But still, this message goes to my friends on New York City. I'm pretty sure that the trolls are going to be in the comments. It's something natural. It's something that I'm already accustomed to, not only on X, but also here on YouTube. You're going to say, oh, well, what do you have to, why are you having an opinion? Why do you have to say, you don't even live in New York City? I've said time and time again, I have tried to explain what this kind of policies do to the economy, even if I'm not an economist, I'm not a specialist in economic policies, but I do know what works and what doesn't. Especially, well, the controlling prices part and trying to make everything free part, that never works because somebody has to pay for it. But this was my message to my New York friends, to my New York body language buddies, which are quite a lot because I know that so many of you watch my show, watch my channel, to all my channels. And yes, this is the thing that you should do, live. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.